players left. Pulls up, looking for the lead, and got it. Jalen Williams, 2 seconds, 1:11.109. Now SGA, probing, piercing, spinning, hanging for the lead, and SGA knocks it down. The Thunder finally get the defensive stop, and SGA puts them in front.
I'm Kenrich Williams. You're listening to Topic Thunder.
And welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Top Thunder podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Huntsinger at Thunder Chats, reigning Stephen Dolan game champion, and joined today by two of First of all, joining us from the Batmobile himself is Batman, Alex Roy. How are we doing, Alex?
I'm still recovering from that defeat. Like, that was, like, it's the thing. Like, I was right there, like, ready for a clip, and all of a sudden, like, he threw in the Korean clip.
I can't believe I got it. I can't believe I got that.
And it completely just threw me for a loop, man. Like, I was just, like, listening, trying to find words that I can, I could even recognize.
Make out Lou Dort.
Like,
Something.
Yeah.
That was fun. We're gonna have to figure out a way to make it copyright friendly. But once we do, I think we gotta have some fun stuff for the off season with that.
You could probably play the audio, just don't have to play the videos, I guess.
I think that's what it is too, but you never know. It was fun.
Yeah, but as many videos on YouTube that use NBA clips, like it's just what
the whole
like,
thing.
Why did we get DCMA?
It's the algo. The algo picked it up. It's whatever.
Oh, the algo can go kick rocks is all I gotta say, because it's Jalen Williams Day. Happy Jalen Williams Day, everybody.
Happy Jalen Williams Day. Hey, throw something on the grill.
Happy broken wrist recovery day. Happy to everybody.
Listen, if we threw something on the grill for every one of these Thunder player days, then we'd all have some high cholesterol.
We would be eating lots of barbecue sauce.
Probably have to buy a couple propane tanks.
Mm-hmm.
This is true, or charcoal. Whatever.
A lot of charcoal bags, yeah.
Whatever your flavor is, and in that case, lighter fluid. So, but yeah, guys, as you can tell, we're in peak off season form. This
Luka Doncic is skinny. That's the news of the week so far.
Hey, opposite muscle watch. Luka Doncic, non-fat watch.
Again.
I'm so sick of that. It's so annoying. It
does not matter.
Oh, look out for Luka. It's like, dude's already averaging 30. Like, what's he gonna do? He's not gonna average 40. Like, I'm not worried about this, dude. Like, calm down.
Yeah.
It's just,
there's nothing to talk about.
Yeah, people are just like, picking at straws. Like, they're throwing stuff against the wall and seeing what sticks, and that stuck for a while.
Media, baby.
Yep. Absolutely. But now we're actually going to shift gears a little bit. We're going to go to the Eastern Conference. We're going to do over-unders this week. We're going to be potting tonight and also Thursday. We're going to start out with the Eastern Conference. And, before we get into the teams, we're going to be talking over-unders and, additions and subtractions for these teams, whether it's injury or whether it's trade, free agency, draft, what have you. The East is, for all intents and purposes, wide open this year. The big favorites, obviously the Celtics going into it last year. Jason Tatum is out with an Achilles tear. The Indiana Pacers, the Eastern Conference representative in the NBA Finals last season. Tyrese Halliburton, famously out with an Achilles tear. There's a lot of it feels like an arms race is actively happening.
Milwaukee and Dame. Like, you can say anything you want
before
about
that,
Dame, but him being out is huge for Milwaukee.
Yeah, well, it at this point it feels like there's an arms race actively happening in the Eastern Conference of trying to position yourself to go in for it, because smart money, looking at it right now, is between probably the Cavs and the Knicks. They're the top two teams coming back from the playoffs. They pretty much bring back everybody, but you got Magic making some moves. You've got the Sixers. Can they finally get healthy? You got teams like the Hawks who are doing crazy things. I think the East could potentially be like the Western Conference of the last decade in terms of just the parity.
Yeah.
I remember there was a few years ago where like the entire playoff field for the Western Conference was like 50-win team. I'm not saying that for the East, but I'm saying like everything could be separated by like 4 or 5 games instead of like, you have like that like top 5, 6 tier, and then you just have like
Cavs
a gap.
and Celtics, and then it's just
it's
everybody
like,
else.
Yeah. I maybe I should just say everybody in the East is going to have a winning record. Going into the playoffs, every playoff team in the East will have a winning record this year. So I'm trying to say.
Hopefully.
I don't think the Wizards are going to have one. Yeah, the playoff.
Yeah, not every Eastern Conference team, but don't hate on the Wizards. I don't think the Wizards are the worst team in the East.
Well,
No, they're not.
They're not making the playoffs, but they're not.
But they're not the worst.
But Matt Tierney extraordinaire has pulled up for our convenience and our knowledge the Eastern Conference teams over-unders, again, like the additions and subtractions of each team. So, Tierney, I'm going to go and turn it over to you, sir.
I think what would be – so one of the other things before we get into this is I'm stealing this from Zach Lowe's podcast, but I think it's really interesting conversation. We're also going to do tiers. What do we think about doing – going through each team once? So we're not doing over-unders and then doubling back and doing tiers. Why don't we just do it all together, and we can just start from the top teams.
I'm gonna blind tier it.
You can blind tier it. Tier it. I did my tier list in like 10 minutes before the pod, to be honest. So it's not like anything crazy.
Well, look at him. He's doing stuff before the pod again, Alex. Just like last podcast.
Just like last podcast.
Hey, don't worry. I did the same thing. So.
Oh, yeah. Nice. I am not prepared. I apologize.
Just wing it. So because then we can just get everything we want to say about a team out at once and then move to the next one.
I mean, you're not coned, but you're not like you don't. It's not like you don't know either. Like you'll be able to.
You're a knowledgeable. Ball.
Exactly.
I guess I'm a cylinder, is what you're trying to say.
Sure.
All right. And on that note, let's get into the first. The odds-on favorite currently on. Actually, I need to share my screen for this. On FanDuel to win the East is currently the Cleveland Cavaliers at plus 240. I also Dylan.
Great website.
Yeah, great website. I always do this on my own because I forget when we're talking about these types of things, like what moves they do. So I always have it up on the screen, but Dylan was like, put that up. And I was like, you know what? Let's do that. Let's share with the listeners as well as all of us what the offseason moves were, so we have a better idea of where they stand. But real quick, also just to show the over-under, since we'll do that first, I think. The over-under is currently set at 55.5 wins.
Question,
So
do you want to start at the bottom and work our way up?
I was going to do top to bottom. We can do bottom top, so it doesn't really matter.
Here's the thing.
Ooh.
The top and the bottom, I think, are the easiest.
Yeah.
They're clear. There's clear lines there on either side.
Yeah.
I just think it's easier to work your way up from the bottom to the top when you're talking expectations. That's how I always make like my tier list, though. But hey, you cook, Tierney. If you want to go top down, we'll do it.
Well, let's we'll wing and do top down for once. We'll mix it up a little bit.
Right.
So 55.5, so less than last year. Some moves they made. They did lose a very key Ty Jerome to the Grizzlies. Thunder legend. By the way, his best 3-point percentage year, according to Cleaning the Glass, was actually in his year in OKC, not with the Cavs. It was like 0.1% difference. So
it's a much higher volume in Cleveland.
Much higher volume.
Yeah,
Played
so
twice as many games. But we're going to ignore that.
Weird.
Yeah, we're going to ignore that part. I did lose him to the Grizzlies. Did re-sign Sam Merrill. Traded for Lonzo Ball for Isaiah Okoro to the Bulls. And then got Larry Nance Jr. back. So he's back with the Cavs. So I'll just say for over under, I do have them over again. I know Ty Jerome is sort of a big loss, but I still think even with this weekend Eastern Conference, they are very capable of getting close to. I wouldn't say they're going to get 60 wins, but I think they can get close to it. So I'm going to say over 55.5 for the Cavs. They still have, assuming everybody's healthy, they still have a very deep roster. Jared Allen and Evan Mobley are just getting another year more experienced. I think Darius Garland.
Do we know if Darius Garland's going to be ready for the beginning of the season?
I don't know, actually.
I don't think he's supposed to be ready for the very beginning. I could be wrong, though.
I'll look it up real quick. But yeah, I think even if he's not there the whole 82 games, they have a very solid core, and Donovan Mitchell is, still like Donovan Mitchell. So I think they are pretty. To me, they're pretty clearly above the 55.5 when Mark.
Yeah, I would say so. I think above 55.
So the injury here, this was a month ago. It said a sideline about 4 to 5 months, so that would be 3 to 4 months from now. So yeah, probably like November is when you'd expect him.
But he's gonna miss like the first probably 15 games.
Training camp, preseason, all that.
Yeah.
Work his way back into basketball shape.
I mean, if Lonzo Ball can get healthy too, I mean, he's not.
That's a big if, brother.
It is a big if, I know. But if it is something,
yeah,
But I mean, hey, they got what's his name, Hunter from DeAndre Hunter. They got good. The thing about Cleveland last year, the thing about Cleveland and Oklahoma City was that each of those teams had very good depth, and so they may have lost Ty Jerome, but they got Lonzo Ball, got Larry Nance Jr. So I do think that their depth is still there, and so it should help them get through this rough patch in the beginning of the season. Whenever Garland is out, and if they run into a couple of bumps in the road as far as injuries go throughout the season, because that's the thing about Cleveland is they were very healthy last year,
right up to the playoffs.
And so, you got to pay the piper eventually in the NBA when it comes to injuries, and so that could be the thing that knocks them down a little bit. But I still think, regardless of that, being in the East still, they'll get over.
They were healthy till it mattered. Like I remember in that Pacers series.
It's true.
I think there was one game that was missing Garland, Allen, and Evan Mobley or something like that. I think DeAndre Hunter might have even been missing. It was just Donovan Mitchell. It's like, this is a tough watch.
Mitchell was so gassed by the end of that series. That was tough to watch.
But yeah, we talk about. I mean, if theoretically, like if the pre-injury Lonzo Ball, like the guy that we last saw, I guess it was in Chicago, like when him and Caruso were just wreaking havoc in the backcourt. If that's the type of player we're getting, a guy that can play defense, a guy that can do some playmaking, a guy that can knock down his three-point shot, that's going to be huge for the Cavs. It just remains to be seen if that is the type of player they're getting. Of course, as you guys mentioned, Larry Nance, they re-signed Sam Merrill. He's played some huge minutes for them in the past now. And Jalen Tyson, I think he's a second-year player at this point, but he was a standout in the Summer League team. I think he made Rutgers too good for Summer League team as well. So maybe he's a guy that can step up also with some, maybe not some ball handling reps, but maybe as like a scorer off the bench type guy. So that will be interesting.
Is Dean Wade still on that team?
I thought he got traded to the Pistons or something. Am I making that
Dean
up?
Wade? Is that what you said?
The other D Wade.
Yeah.
Dwayne Wade's.
I do want to ask while you're looking that up. Are we like when we're projecting? We're assuming like things we're not baking in injuries. Like we're assuming everybody's healthy. Okay.
No.
Well, I will go ahead and say I don't have the Cavs as the 1 seed in the Eastern Conference then if everybody's healthy.
Wow. Okay.
Is he still on the Cavs?
Guessing you have the Washington Wizards.
Trey Johnson, man. Bilal Coulibaly. Are you kidding me? They just traded for Cam Whitmore? Dynasty.
Alexander
Wade is
Sarr?
still on the Cavs.
I actually really do like what the Wizards are cooking. Just so you know.
No, I do like what they're cooking. Unfortunately, they don't have Shea.
They don't. That's a big miss on their part, if I don't say so. So did we all have over on that?
Yeah.
I think slightly over. I don't think they're gonna win 60 games or anything again this year, but I can see them being slightly over.
57.
Yeah, like 56, 57, 58, something like that.
So yeah, assuming no injuries, I do have them obviously in my top tier, can make the NBA finals. One of my three. So they take the first slot. I do have them as the 1 seed too. So we'll see what Dylan's is in a second, I
think
guess.
I have them 2 seed. I guess we'll call this tier for me the cream of the crop. And
It has to have 3 teams. It has to have 3.
Oh, I have 3.
Oh,
You
so
calm,
okay.
calm down.
Just making sure.
There's 3 creams on this.
Oh, okay.
3
souffle.
creams in this crop.
Whatever.
All right. And Alex, you have them top tier, I assume, as well?
I have them number 1, yeah.
So next best odds. I won't show all these screens, but I'll show the transactions. The New York Knicks plus 270.
Nueva York.
They are over under 53.5 wins, just slightly below the Cavs. Not a lot of moves to be said here. Let's pull it up anyway. They just added Jordan Clarkson and Yabusele, which I did forget about that second one. Both pretty good moves. Jordan Clarkson back on the Knicks.
Jordan Clarkson was
Wasn't
on
he?
the Knicks before?
Or am I making that up? Oh, never mind.
Yeah, I think
the
maybe.
Lakers, the
Crawford.
Cavs, and the Jazz.
I have Jordan Clarkson Knicks uniform in my head, and I was completely wrong about that. Yeah, not a lot of changes in general though. Those are both just pretty peripheral changes. You still have, and you also have. Did they sign a coach? I feel like they did, right?
Yeah,
Mike Brown. That's right.
Mike Brown.
Yeah, so they have a new coach coming in. I think that is very important because I think Tom Thibodeau is successful as he can be. It can get a little. I don't know, it can get a little stale, I guess. And
there's definitely a glass ceiling.
I think they sort of reached what they could have reached with him. You still have a lot of good pieces. Yabusele, I do think, is a really good just general piece for them. Pretty deep. I think you've got, like, just looking at this, probably 8-9 guys you could play in a playoff roster. So yeah, I don't know if I'd willing to say that they're like 53.5 to me is pretty on the button, as the Vegas tends to do. I'm going to probably say they get 53 wins. So they get just below this, because I think the Cavs are going to go pretty close to 60. So I'm going to take just a game or two away from the Knicks in this one and say they just do a tick under, but they are still in my top tier team. They can make the NBA Finals right up there with the Cavs. So
yeah, I think those two teams are going to feast.
Yeah,
in
right.
the East. So 53 wins. I'm going to take the over also with them. Again, one of the big things about them was you had a lot of good players. Their top 6, their top 7 was real good. And they still have their top 6 and top 7. Now you have Jordan Clarkson on I believe it's a minimum deal because he got, waived by Utah. And then you have Yabusele on another, I think, minimum deal or close to it.
Yeah.
And I thought, I think you got real good value for those two players. Those two players are players that can be in a playoff rotation. And so the Knicks, one of the biggest things about them was their depth. They got deeper. And so if they can stay healthy and continue to build that chemistry between Brunson and Cat, I think this team is primed to take that next step. And, they were in the Eastern Conference Finals, but be solidified as one of those Eastern Conference Finals, finalists to, for next season. So I do think they are going to get better.
Yabusele is
So I'll take
actually
it.
a 2-year with a player option. I just looked it up.
Nice.
Did not know that.
Yeah, you said the over-under is 53.5? Is that what you said?
3.5.
Yeah.
Huh, they only won 51 games last year.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of makes sense because, two of the better teams are gone.
Yeah.
And I think Vegas doesn't like doing 60+ wins for their over-under, even though the Cavs might be able to still do it. They like to go in the middle a little bit.
Yeah. Man, that's a really good line for the Knicks. I can't
It's a
lie.
fantastic line.
I think.
So you
No,
have them
God,
as number 1?
Who?
No.
You don't.
What a twist this is. A
I
twist
actually
of fate.
considered
Well, yeah,
I actually
quite
considered
the
putting them at
twist.
4.
My goodness. So you should have them under here. Unless you have a bunch of
That's what I
51.
was looking at. I think I'll go. God, I think I'll go over.
I'm so confused. I'm so confused by you.
I didn't love the Knicks last year either. I think I had them in like the 3 or 4 range, but a lot of people had them as like the favorites or at least the incumbents to the Celtics. But I don't know. I do think it will be. I don't think you can properly judge this team until you see them without Tom Thibodeau, because that's been their identity for like however long it's been now.
Yep.
And so like I can't get out of my head just playing 6 guys into the ground every night. So like, maybe, playing normal rotational minutes, guys like OG Anunoby won't break down when it comes to the playoffs. Like, I don't know. It's hard to say. Like theoretically, yeah, that works. And, I guess we're projecting health. So again, this is the Eastern Conference Finals team. So I guess I'll go over. I just don't really believe in the Knicks that much.
Also, I'm looking at their just cap and roster. The top, let's see, I think it's the top 7 guys that would be on their roster. So Cat, Anunoby, Brunson, Bridges, Hart, Jordan Clarkson, or Mitchell Robinson, Jordan Clarkson, and then Yabusele. I'd say was like those are like the maybe Miles McBride thrown in there, but 8 out of those 9 we'll say are 28 and older, and most of them are 29 and 30. So they're a pretty old team, all things considered. So
they have a very short window.
So I think what you were saying about running them into the ground is going to be a nice change of pace for the Mike Brown coaching strategy.
It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. Mike Brown revitalized the Sacramento Kings, the light the beam year. Like that was a great time. Maybe he can recapture that magic with the Knicks roster. I don't know. I'm open to it, I guess.
We're open.
Again, Mike Brown he's one of those coaches that like the first 2 years, everybody loves them. And then by year 3, like it's time to go. Like he's still getting paid I think he's still getting paid. Who was he with before?
Cleveland, wasn't it? Or Lakers?
He was with the Lakers for a little bit. I don't know if that was.
I think he's still getting paid by the Lakers.
That's how you do it right there, baby.
All I remember from him is his post-game interview with the laptop, and he showed it to everybody.
That's awesome.
It became a meme. And then the other one where he's just like, what was it? He was just like again and again and again, something like that. He just kept repeating himself over and over. Those are so funny. Mike Brown. That's my analysis.
Yeah, I think I am going to put them at 4 for me.
So
4?
Mm-hmm.
How do you have over 53.5 and 4? That's a tight top conference.
So Tierney, are you still?
Yeah, I got him one. I got him 1 too.
You guys know I like to go different.
Okay. So Dylan,
I like this. It's good.
Cleveland. You have Cleveland 2, and then New York 4.
It's crazy. We're about to.
Okay.
We're about to get some interesting stuff here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Let's get to the third team then.
So
ready. Number 3 in terms of odds is the Orlando Magic at plus 500, and their over under is currently 50.5. So we have 3 teams projected at 50 plus wins. We find their stuff. They did a little bit of stuff over the offseason.
They did,
which they needed to do. We all knew what they lacked. And so they went out and got Desmond Bane from the Grizzlies. Did give up a whole lot of assets for that, but they got it. And also got Tyus Jones. Cole Anthony is in that deal to the Grizzlies, so he's gone. So it's KCP. Cole Anthony, shout out. And then Gary Harris went to the Bucks. Paolo and Mo Wagner re-signed. So that basically is essentially what they did, is just went in and got much better shooting than they had with the likes of KCP, who they thought was going to be a good shooter. And also pretty good like ball handler and like decent playmaker too with Desmond Bane. I really like him. So I'm pretty high on the Magic, not as high as to say they're in my tier 1. But I do think they are going to be a much more improved team. I also really like Anthony Black. He's kind of just one of my, just look out for him. He's not the best shooting wise, but he's like super, 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 super athletic. And I think he has a opening on this roster now that if they can space the floor a little bit better. Their defense is still just as good as it was last season. I think could probably even get a little bit better with some of those younger guys in Black and also like Jalen Suggs, who's still pretty young. Both of those guys can get better on that end. Paolo now doesn't need the ball as much, and I think that's a big plus. Tristan Da Silva is still there, and like I think I'm pretty high on him too. I think he could be like a good player for their front court as well, just sort of off the bench. So I'm going to say over. With all of that said, I think they could get about the same as New York. So I'm going to say both of those guys get 53 wins. I don't know if I like them as much in the playoffs. So they're going to be in my tier 2 list, which is they will make the playoffs, but I don't see them as a team that can reach the NBA finals. So I'll say over and tier 2 for me for the Orlando Magic.
So I have them at, I'll say over, but like 51 wins over. And I actually have them at number 4.
Number 4.
So I got Cleveland, New York, surprise team, and then 4.
I should have said what they did last year. In terms of the standings, I'll pull it up. They went 41-41. So this is a 9-win improvement from last offseason.
But the hope is that both Paolo and Franz don't get abdominal injuries that keep them out for like
Paolo, Franz, Jalen Suggs, Wendell Carter, like
Jalen Suggs was hurt all the time. Yeah.
They had so many injuries and they still won 41 games last year, still made it to the playoffs. And when they got to the playoffs and they were healthy, they almost stole one game against Boston, but I went back and looked at it. 2 of those games were within single-digit points. So, again, like Boston, like when healthy, everybody knew they were going to be a buzzsaw, especially like in the playoffs. I think Tierney actually predicted that the Magic
I was about to say,
one.
I said Magic or Celtics in 5, and I was so proud of my boys.
He did. He
they got that one win.
That they would take one, but this was like the Magic's like the first taste was against the Cavaliers, but the year prior, but like this was like a step up in opponent. And I think that they got those scars, as Chris Vernon would like to say, that the Thunder were lacking before. And I think that, again, kind of like the Thunder a couple of years ago, they saw what they needed, what everybody knew they needed, and it was shooting. And we talk about Desmond Bane, we talk about Tyus Jones. What it didn't mention there is they drafted Jace Richardson in the lottery as well. Like Jace Richardson was one of the best 3-point shooters in the draft as well. So they finally have shooting to surround Paolo and Franz Wagner with. And again, if they're healthy, if Paolo, Franz, Suggs, Bane, who is another guy who, went through some injury issues last year as well. If their core can stay healthy, like offensively, defensively, like they're one of the more complete teams, not even in the East, like in the league in terms of like, what they can do as in 3-level scoring on offense. And then defensively, they just got length for days. Like, they're like Thunder Light in that regard in terms of like, Franz, Paolo, Wendell, Tristan Da Silva, Anthony Black, as Tierney was saying. And Desmond Bane doesn't help with the length or anything like that. But, he's a big physical guy that, can play some defense. So, And
Suggs is probably the best defender on that
is a
team.
monster. Him and his
Jonathan Isaac's still there.
He exists.
He was good. He was good at defense.
I think that I am also going over with this one because I actually have the Magic as my 3 seed currently.
Oh, I know who your 1 seed is
as we speak. So that is they're in my contender tier. And I've been high on the Magic. I think I was high on them last year. I think I projected them to be the 4 seed last year, and they may well have if they didn't go through all these injury issues. So again, fully healthy, give me the Magic 3 seed.
So they are in your. Are they in your top tier?
Mm-hmm. Yep,
Okay.
they're my third.
Wait, did we get your 1 seed?
No,
I thought all 3 of those teams were in your top
Not
tier.
yet.
no, sir.
Who was the one not in your top?
Absolutely not. Get out of here. No,
I know,
I had
I know,
Cavs
I know.
2.
Oh, Cavs are in the
Magic
second tier.
3. No, Cavs were first tier, dude.
Oh, I thought
Listen,
you said 2 was in
Cavs
second.
and Magic in first
Bro,
tier.
are you gonna go crazy and
I know
pick
who he's
Philly?
picking. I know who's picking.
I've already talked about it. Of course I am. If we're
Yeah.
talking fully healthy,
He's on that VJ Edgecombe hype
Brother.
train.
Not
I am
just-
too.
not
I am
just
too,
VJ
by the way.
Edgecombe.
I know. There's others,
Can we
but-
talk about the most impressive rookie last year that did not get to finish the year? Jared McCain. You
Let's-
talk about volume shooters surrounded with
Yeah.
Joel Embiid. Paul George, listen, Paul George is a shell of himself. We know this, but when he's not being asked to be the 1 or the 2, like maybe not even the 3, if Jared McCain and VJ Edgecombe do what they could do, like Paul George just like a supplementary role, like go play defense, go, space the floor with your shooting, like do not dribble the basketball. Paul George is a great piece. And then Maxey, we saw he was having an all-star season. I think he ended up being an all-star, if I'm not mistaken. Whenever Embiid and Paul George were out, Maxey was like an automatic 30, 35 points, like every single night. And there was many nights he didn't have Embiid, Paul George, Jared McCain, anybody. And, he was still propelling the Sixers to win. They have, rotational guys like a Kelly Oubre. I think Caleb Martin's still there. Andre Drummond was there last year. I don't know if he's still there or not, but, they have the pieces that they need. Again, if they can stay healthy, that's my caveat. If they can stay healthy, I think that they have one of the, again, more complete rosters in the league. East, sorry. One of the more complete rosters in the East and one of the best collections of high level talent in the East as well. Again, if they stay healthy.
So we'll jump to them. The Sixers are plus 1,200 to win the East. The over-under is 41.5. Dylan obviously has the over there.
Brother, that over is easy.
I just want to ask, what's the last team that won 24 games and then was the first seed in the conference?
Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm just kidding.
That's right. Oklahoma City
The
Thunder.
Oklahoma City Thunder.
Thought I'd trick y'all, but didn't. Yeah, so I guess they're the next Oklahoma City Thunder, except they are
They're a little bit older.
a little bit older, not as well equipped for the future. But hey, they could put in a run this year.
Hey, they already have an
They do have
MVP
an
on their
MVP
team.
on their team. Just a couple of the moves. Pull it up here. Did sign or draft VJ Edgecombe. I am a big VJ fan. Also got Trenton Wofford. Yeah, Basile did leave, like we talked about. Thunder legend Gerard Butler's gone.
Like they didn't lose anybody that they're gonna
Nope.
miss. Basically.
Yeah, nobody here is really anything. And the guys they signed, like Kyle Lowry or Gordon, they're like nearing 40. And then they did, I guess, re-sign.
But hey,
Dustin
that's
Edwards.
locker room presence. Like that is
Veterans.
playoff experience.
And Iguodala is there too. I just checked. Andre Drummond is also there.
Iguodala.
Or sorry, Andre Drummond is what I meant to say. I heard Iguodala when you said it earlier.
Give me Iguodala.
I heard when you said Andre, I heard Iguodala, and then I said it again. Andre Drummond is still there. That's what I meant to
I got
say.
excited for a second.
My bad. And now they have Janai Broom.
Yeah.
I always say Johnny Broom, but Janai Broom. And then is it Adam or Adem Bona?
Adem.
Yeah, Adem Bona. Both of them were balling in summer league. So
Yep.
they have some young guys. They're not going to really be too much. But yeah, like you said, Jared McCain, really good rookie season. He's going to be some very, very good spacing. Who knows if Paul George ever comes back? But if he does, on paper, this team is really good.
Yep.
Really good.
I have them as my number 7 seed.
Ooh.
I
Hey, I'll just say, Cone's with me on this.
I know this whole
Mhm.
thing is assuming health. But
it's hard to do that here.
Paul George is going to be out probably the first little bit of the season. Embiid, it's definitely a roll of the
Mhm.
dice when it comes to his health. Maxey, he hasn't been the most healthiest consistently throughout his career. Not necessarily anything huge, but he'll miss 15 to 20 games every year. So that's my thing with them. It's going to be health dependent, and I just don't see them being healthy. And plus, selfishly, we own their top 4 protected pick. So if we can get another lottery pick, in 2026,
I mean, ideally,
why the hell
yeah.
not? So yeah. So I'm going to go through my top 15, my 15 for the East because I have to go. So 1, 2, of course, Cleveland, New York. 3, I have Orlando. 4, I have Atlanta. 5, Detroit. 6, Milwaukee. 7, Philly. Perennial number 8 seed, Miami. 9, Chicago. 10, Boston. 11, Toronto. 12, Charlotte. 13, Indianapolis. 14, Washington, and then 15, Brooklyn.
All right. I'm a little higher on Indy, but we'll get
Indy,
to them soon.
I think Indy plays the tanking game. I think they, whenever, they did the trade during the finals to get their pick back for 2026. And I think with Halliburton going down, with them not re-signing Miles Turner, I think that they take next year and they're like, hell, let's go ahead and see what the first half of the season looks like. If it doesn't look like anything, to write home about, start sitting Siakam, start sitting Nembhard, start sitting some of those players, start getting first
Jarris
minutes,
Walker time, man.
and see if they can get Jarris Walker time, and just see if they can get the highest pick possible in the 2026 draft, where you could have some damn good players, probably 4 to 5 picks into the draft. So like the top 5 picks are probably going to be pretty good players. So I can definitely see them doing that.
Yeah, it's fair.
With that said,
Take it easy, boss.
Peace.
Thunder up.
Bye. Real quick, just to finish up the 76ers. I also have them over. I'm not as high as you are on them, but I am pretty high still. I have them in terms of like tier. So I have tier 1 as can't make the finals, and I've had the Cavs and Knicks so far. They're not my third team, and it's not really about injury per se. It kind of is, I guess. But when I think about this last NBA playoffs and just how physical it was for the teams that made it to the end, there were these very high octane, physical, defensive teams. I don't really know if you can justify Embiid making it all the way to the NBA finals. And I guess, what would that be? 16, 12 games up to that point. He needs to get 16 to win a final. So like that number of games and that level of intensity for, a month plus, I can't buy myself to believe it, but I do think they are a very firm NBA playoff team. They're going to be in like I didn't seed them necessarily, but they're in my top 6.
Yeah.
But I'd probably say they're like 4 or 5, somewhere up there.
Yeah. I mean, hey, how if Embiid holds up in the playoffs is no matter to me. I'm strictly predicting regular season.
That's fair.
And that's where I'm at on that. I mean, hey, they can flame out in the playoffs all they want to, and they probably will. But if they could get to regular season, and we have seen Embiid make it through the regular season to the playoffs before, so yeah, not impossible.
Next, in terms of odds, we'll jump back because we missed number 4 in terms of odds. The Atlanta Hawks at plus 950. And they are over under a 46.5. They made some moves, to say the least. Let me jump back up because they're all the way up at A. But they did sign one of their bigger signings was Nickeil Alexander-Walker. They also signed Luke Kennard. They traded for Kristaps Porzingis with the Celtics. Lost a lot of players in a lot of those trades. Terrence Mann, George Niang gone from the trade with Porzingis. And they did lose a lot to free agency as well. Larry Nance Jr., like we mentioned, Karis LeVert, Capella, LeVert to the Pistons, Capella to the Rockets. I'll let you go first. I realize every time I introduce these, I go first. So I'll let you, Dylan, start this one because I do have a few things to say, but I want you to start us off.
I think it's over. I think that just looking at addition and departures, I think that they clearly got better. But the biggest addition is not listed on there, and it's just the fact that they get back Jalen Johnson. People forget Jalen Johnson was playing at an all-star level last year before he got hurt, and had to miss the rest of the regular season. And his absence was a big part of why the Hawks kind of crumbled there at the end. They still won 40 games, with the roster that they had without Jalen Johnson for most of the season. And what'd you say the over-under was?
41?
Oh, that's...
Oh, no, sorry, 46.
I was about to say, either way, that's... I think I'm hammering this. I don't have them... I struggle with if I have them at 5 or 6 in my seeding. But yeah, I definitely think that this is probably the best team that the Hawks has put together around Trae Young.
Yep.
To maximize his strengths and weaknesses. And I do think that they can make some noise.
Dylan, I'm all in on this team this year. I didn't seed them necessarily. I only tiered them. This is my last team that I think can make the NBA Finals. And there's a few reasons. You already mentioned a few of them, but I'll say it real quick again. Jalen Johnson is a big part of this that people are not looking at. A lot of people, like during the, when the Hawks were kind of petering out into the play-in, the big question was like, what does this Hawks offense do without Trae Young on the court? Because it was like very clear whenever he's not on, they have nothing going. They have no creator, no playmaker. I think number one, when Trae is on the court, you now have even more firepower on the perimeter, because you've saw, like, Luke Kennard to me is one of those very underrated. Oh, he's not that underrated, but he's like very consistently one of the better consistent shooters in the league the last 3 or 4 years, I want to say. I think that's very valuable for a guy like Trae, who's gotten even better than he already was at finding guys that he's averaging like more assists than he ever has. I also think on the defensive end, there's a lot to be said about this team besides the guys who have already done quite a bit with Dyson Daniels. And we know Nickeil Alexander-Walker adding into that perimeter defense is going to be ridiculous. I do think there's something to be said about Trae Young in his contract season, what he is going to be bringing to the table, not just on offense, but also on defense. He's not going to be a good defensive player by any stretch because he's undersized, but at least he tries. At least he is like going through more screens. He's putting in more effort on that side. And as long as you can do that, you've got enough elsewhere on this team to still be a pretty good defense. I would say maybe even like a top 10 defense, assuming everything's good. I also think Risa Shea, I'm really high on him. I think he's still a little bit raw, but I think if he can develop pretty quickly in his second season, that's a very nice wrinkle that they have. And Porzingis is another guy that if he is healthy, he offers even more spacing for Trae offensively. There's a little bit of question on, the front court, the size a little bit. Onyeka Okongwu is probably going to be starting, and hopefully Porzingis comes back at some point and can either be the starting five or at least put in a good amount of minutes with Okongwu. But that's really the only thing. I think everywhere else, like from playmaking to shooting to defense to creation, they have a lot of good options, and they're a very dynamic team. I think they're well over the 46.5. I would probably say they're probably up there. I wouldn't say they're quite up with 53 with New York and Orlando. I'd probably put them at like 50, 51. But I do think that in the playoffs, that this is a team that is got enough tools around it now, and a Trae that is in a contract year and looking to get paid. I think that speaks a lot to what they can do in the playoffs.
Yeah, much like the Thunder too, they benefited Why did I say fitted like that?
Fitted.
They benefited from the injury that Jalen Johnson suffered because it allowed guys like Zachary Risachet and Dyson Daniels to step up and play more minutes through the regular season in different roles, closing lineups, close games, clutch games, stuff like that. So I do think that that's going to pay dividends. Dyson Daniels was like I think he was in the running for Defensive Player of the Year last year. Kind of came out of nowhere in terms of that regard. Was just like a throw in on the DeJounte Murray trade that sent him to the Pelicans. And he came in, he took it personally, and he played a heck of a year. And I think I think this is year 3 for him, year 3 or 4. So, I mean,
True.
he's just going to continue to grow. Dyson Daniels.
Oh, Daniels. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 4. I think he played 2 years with the Pelicans.
Yeah, I can't remember. We've done so many drafts. It's just like, but yeah, I think they'll be good. Gosh, man, I struggle. I think I'm gonna put them. I think I'll put them at the 5 seed.
Okay.
Right behind the. Who did I say? Oh, the Knicks. Yeah, right behind the Knicks on that one.
Sorry, did you say over or under there for the 46.5?
Yeah, I'll take the over.
Okay. A lot of wins at the top so far for everybody.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good over. In terms of the 6 seed, I mean, who's the next team in the odds?
I think the Pistons are next, which I think are both of our. Yeah. So I have them in my will make the playoffs, but not going to win the final or go to the finals. So they're plus 1,200. Over under is set at 45.5, a game below the Hawks.
They were at 44 last year.
44 wins last year. Very good playoff run, all things considered. Did lose. Well, I was going to say a couple people, maybe 1 or 2.
Tim
pieces.
Hardaway.
Tim Hardaway. So I think Fontecchio is like a pretty solid.
Fontecchio.
Whatever his name is. And
Dennis the Menace and Lindy Waters.
Yeah. They lost a few, but Karis LeVert, I liked when the announcement happened, and I've sort of like thought about it more. I'm like, I don't know if I like this much. They also got Duncan Robinson through the sign and trade with Miami that sent the Italian man's name
Fontecchio
to the Heat. I don't know if I like that move either. I think if you have to choose between Fontecchio or Robinson, I would much prefer Fontecchio, if I'm being honest. I don't know if I trust Duncan Robinson that much. He feels like he's a little inconsistent in like the thing he's supposed to do really well. And then you also lost a pretty key like playmaker off the bench in Dennis, which just puts more pressure on Cade. So I'm a little bit down on them in terms of where I was coming into the off season. So with that said, I'm probably going to take the under slightly on this. I still think they're a play-in or playoff team. So I'll say like 44 wins. But I think if you just look at like what they had versus what they're coming into this season, it's I'm a little bit weary. That said, though, there are some pieces I still like a Sir Thompson, I think will be a really valuable player for them defensively. I don't really think offensively there's too much to be happy about there, but he's like a really solid defensive piece. And you've got Jaden Ivey, who I think he's like 22, 23. He's pretty young still. So it's like, that's another piece that I think he can still develop a little bit, at least offensively. So there's pieces there that I like. Cohesively, though, I just don't really see them going much farther than they did last season. I could be wrong, but that's just sort of where I see them. I see them as like a low tier 2 for me. We'll make the playoffs. So coming in as like a 6 seed probably, but not making it past the second round again.
Yeah, I have them over. I have them on the 6th seed. Again, like, you talk about the departures. I actually think Duncan Robinson over Tim Hardaway is a market improvement.
I was saying over Fontecchio, not. Tim
Well,
Hardaway.
I'll look at Fontecchio stats as well, but just looking at THJ, he shot about 36.8% on about 6 attempts per game. Let me pull up Fontecchio's here.
Yeah, I think he was like
Fontecchio shot.
He was down a little bit last year.
33.5 on 3 attempts per game.
Yeah. He shot 42% the year before, but it was a lot less games. So
yeah. Duncan Robinson last year for the Heat shot 39.3% from 3 on 6.5 attempts. The year before that, 39.5 on 7 attempts. Like, he's got 2 seasons of his 7 that he shot below 37%, and it's all on high volume 3-point shooting. He also gives you some size. Duncan Robinson is 6'7" compared to Tim Hardaway, who is like 6'3", I would say 6'5". Okay, yeah. So gives you a little bit of size on that front as well. Karis LeVert, he's just a guy that's going to come in and kind of give you some scoring off the bench. But again, much like the Jalen Johnson addition for the Hawks, I think that Jaden Ivey is going to be a huge addition for this Pistons team. Again, we talk about people forgetting, how players were playing, before they were injured. Try to pull up what Jaden Ivey's
30 games
were
last year.
Yeah, 30 games. Yeah, shot. He was averaging 18, pretty much 18 points per game on 40% from the 3-point line on 5 attempts per game. Also 4 rebounds, 4 assists.
Better than I remember. Wow.
Yeah, and he's still not hyper efficient, but he's he's a volume scorer a little bit. So he's shooting a career high 46% from the field last year. Like, he was putting on. Like, he was having a really good year again before his injury, much like Jalen Johnson was. And him and Cade had really kind of figured out how to play off of each other, how to make it work. And I think that a way that they can alleviate not just Dennis leaving, but just a ball handler off the bench leaving, is to do what a lot of teams do, including Oklahoma City, is stagger the minutes of your 2 ball handler players. I think if you could stagger Cade and Jaden Ivey's minutes, I think that you could really maximize that roster with the pieces that you have around them. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. I think Biggerstaff is a good coach. I think that they have a solid team, a solid mix of young players and veterans. We saw last year they pushed the Knicks to 6, I believe, and again, there was a couple of games that were much closer than you would think. Just looking at Knicks in 6. I think that having Jaden Ivey could have really made the difference in that series, because the thing about the Knicks, they've got Mikal Bridges, they got OG Anunoby in terms of their perimeter defenders, but they don't have somebody that can guard the small, quick guys like a Jaden Ivey. Cade's a big guy. I think he's 6'6", something like that. So he's an ideal matchup for a guy like OG or Mikal. Mm-hmm. Jaden Ivey's lightning fast water bug, 6'2" guard that can just explode at the rim. I think that he would have presented a lot of problems for the Knicks. So, anyways, we're talking regular season. So yeah, I'm going over, and I have them at the 6th seed. I went back and forth on if I wanted them at the 5, but I think the 6 is a solid spot.
Yeah. Very dumb thing I realized while you were talking, I was looking up kind of their roster for next season. I just totally forgot Tobias Harris was there. Yeah,
he was there last year too.
I know, but I forgot he went back to the Pistons. Oh yeah, hey, he's still on this team. So yeah, they've got, let's see, Jaden Ivey, Asir Thompson, Duncan Robinson, then Cade, Tobias, Isaiah Stewart. We said Karis LeVert came in. Jalen Duran, still pretty young.
Yeah, I love Asar, by the way. He's a monster.
Defensively, I think he's just ridiculous. We also forgot about Paul. He signed there. But yeah.
Paul, baby.
Paul. Next up is the Boston Celtics at plus 1,500. Much higher than they would have hoped. but obviously with the injuries, they are now at an over-under of 42.5, just over 500. That is markedly down from 61 wins last season. A couple of moves they made. We mentioned a few of them already, but yeah, the Porzingis went out to the Hawks. They shipped Drew Holiday to the Trailblazers. They got back George Niang and out Anthony Simons and all of that transaction. Put up on the screen. And then they also got Luke Garza in place of Luke Cornett. Just traded Lucas and then Josh Minogue. So, yeah, definitely a market step down. They were obviously doing these for cap reasons. This is a tread water season for the Celtics, and just wait for Tatum to get back. So I don't really know if I have any like strong opinions about them one way or the other, because I don't really think they're going to be doing much anyway. I had them as a can make the plan and probably will make the plan if all trajects well the same and they don't go and do any more big moves before the trade deadline. I'll probably just say under, but I think they'll go like exactly 500. So they'll get like just a hair under that over 42.5. But yeah, if you look at what their roster is for next season, let me pull it up here. You are basically looking at a lineup that's going to be Derek White, Simons, Brown, and then I guess you throw Xavier Tillman at the 5, George Niang at the 4.
I would say they'll probably try to. Who did they have last year? They had somebody last year. They also drafted Amari Williams. Oh yeah, Luke Cornett played a lot last year, but they had Nehemiah Queta. Is he still on the team?
Nehemiah Queta is still there, I think.
Yeah,
it's not guaranteed or partially guaranteed, I guess. So yeah, he's technically still there.
Yeah.
So yeah, their front court is like I don't know what they're gonna do there. Yeah, just kind of like we'll win a lot of games against the bad teams, but like I don't think they have like any depth right now to be competitive.
I'll be honest with you, man. I don't think the Celtics are going to be as bad as the people think they're going to be. I mean, obviously, like their ceiling has just been taken out with no Jason Tatum. They lose Porzingis, they lose Drew Holiday, but like if you look at last season, Porzingis and Drew Holiday weren't exactly world beaters. It was very much like the Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Derek White was like the triumvirate. And of course you lose Jason Tatum, and I think Al Horford is a free agent. He's probably going to be gone too in the departures. Yeah. But Anthony Simons, good player, like legitimate scorer. Georges Niang, a good guy to bring in as like, a rotational piece. They made some moves in the draft. I know they got Amari Williams. I think, they drafted Hugo Gonzalez as well. Mm-hmm. So they've got an interesting roster. It's all going to kind of hinge on what does this team look like with Jaylen Brown stepping up as the best player and Derek White stepping up as the second best player. And I don't know. I mean, you said what? The over-under is 41?
42.
Or 41.5. I mean, looking at last year, like the Miami Heat got 37 wins last year, and we all know how the Miami Heat was. The Hawks have 40. The Bulls had 39. The Magic have 41 after going through their Plagues of Egypt season with all their injuries. Like, I think they can get their over-under, and I think that they could be, like, they'll be firmly in the hunt for the play-in.
Oh, for sure. I think they'll make the plan. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm going to go over. I think I have them as my 8 seed, just kind of looking at it.
So not too high over 42, though.
Nah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, I don't think they're going to be – I think it's a matter of perspective, right? Because it's like
you're going from a team that has – hopes for an NBA title to just not nothing really. And so I think the mentality of that can affect a team for sure, because on paper, I think they can beat a lot of teams and potentially get up to even 50 wins. But I think that mentality part of that is there. And I think they're just so backcourt heavy in just the roster composition. It's like, what are you going to do? Like if let's say, George Niang's getting old, he misses some games, or and then you've got like one of Xavier Tillman or Kita is gone for a couple days. Like, what does your front court rotation look like at that point? That's just very
Josh Minot, baby.
Very, very scary. So yeah, I don't know. That part I'm mostly just worried about. So, but I think their backcourt's like, they've got a lot of good pieces that can still create and have abilities to score. So it's just the other side of things that I'm a little bit more worried about. So,
Right.
But yeah, I think they'll be pretty mid, as the kids say.
As the kids say. Yeah, you want to hit this, hit our 8s, or round out our top 8 and then rifle through the last half.
Yeah, we'll rifle through it. So the next step, we'll rifle these. So technically the Bucks are next at plus 1,700. The Bucks are at over under. Where are they? Milwaukee over 42.5. I gotta scroll all the way down to Milwaukee. A lot of things obviously happen with them. So yeah, Lillard waived. Mitric waived. Don't know. Yeah. Brook Lopez went to the Clippers. They bring in Miles Turner. They re-sign Kevin Porter Jr., Bobby Portis, Gary Trent Jr., a couple of other guys in there, if you see on the screen. This is my one main thing I've just been thinking about with them. They obviously still have a lot of decent shoot. Let me pull it up here. They obviously still have a lot of decent shooting around Giannis. They have, what's his name? AJ Green. Cole Anthony is sometimes a good shooter. Just say that. Gary Trent Jr. Kevin Porter Jr. sometimes. Kyle Kuzma, like people that can space the floor are on Giannis. My one question is, because the thing with the Bucks from last year was when Giannis wasn't on the court, you always had Dame as like the guy creating the offense. Who is that guy now when Giannis goes to the bench? Because I have 0 people I can list on this roster.
It's your boy.
My boy, Cole Anthony.
It's your boy, or KPJ, probably.
That's no offense to my boy, but that's not looking good. So just here, this is my only team that I couldn't figure out a tier for. So they're in the Milwaukee Bucks tier, because they could either be, if Giannis is healthy the entire season and goes on like an MVP run, they could be a play-in team. They could be like the 7 or 8 seed and win and go over their win total, win like 42 games. But if Giannis is out for like a little bit of time, or they just go on a cold streak, what's to say that Giannis is like, hey, I don't see a lot of stuff happening here. The future doesn't look great. We finally get what people have been saying for the last few years, and he requests out. And now you're looking at a team with just a whole lot of nothing outside of like Miles Turner, and maybe Bobby Portis is okay, and Kyle Kuzma is not that great. AJ Green can still shoot. Like, what else do you really have there? Andre Jackson Jr. is there. I don't know.
I'll just go out and say, man, I think this is a disgusting team.
They're not good outside of Giannis, man.
What was the line?
42, which seems really high now that I'm looking at it.
I think I'm going under on this one, man. Yeah. I think that
they have the same line as the Celtics. That's crazy.
I think there's a
Feels that.
solid chance that we see a Giannis trade request because this
Yeah.
is. I think that they easily got worse. Like,
Mhm.
it's not about just the players. Like, I get it. Miles Turner's younger, and Miles Turner did. He was good in that run, and the past couple years for the Pacers. But like Brook Lopez was as important to that Milwaukee's Bucks defense the past few
Mhm.
years as any other player in this league. Or not in this league, on that has been on the Bucks. Obviously, I think that he's a huge loss. Talk about trading Chris Middleton, last season. Dame Lillard's gone. Like Pat Connaughton, who is, kind of feels like an afterthought in terms of like rotation players, but that's another guy that's been there like since the beginning of this team that was kind of shaped around Giannis and Chris Middleton. He won a championship with that roster. Like, just looking at the team, I mean, I guess Bobby Portis is like your lone guy that is still there from that championship roster. Like, this is a completely different team at this point.
Trent Jr. wasn't there yet, was he? I don't think so.
Nah, I
Yeah.
think he was somewhere else. I think he might have still been on the Raptors at that point. I don't know. I could be wrong, but yeah. Either way, man. Like I just don't get inspired when I look at this roster. I think I think it has more questions than answers.
Scary.
Yeah, I have this. I don't know. I struggle.
It could go so many different ways. That's the thing, because it's like it could be Giannis just carries this team, right? And they get like.
But how far can Giannis carry that team?
I mean, he's one of the best players in the like. If he went out, it was just like, screw it. I'm going to play like 42 minutes a game and just put this team on my back because I love the city so much. He could do that, I think, in this Eastern Conference. I think he could. I think he could get, and you put like a couple of good shooting nights from AJ and Gary Trent Jr. and Jericho Sims, you could get 40 wins. But the odds are that's not going to happen. And it could just go to like we win 20. So it could just go so many different. There's just such a wide gap of like what the win potential is for this team. That's why they're in their own tier for me, because I can't really figure it out.
Like they have 48 wins last year, and that's with Dame having an all-star season. That's with the continuity of guys that were on that championship roster. Like I just I'm out for it, man. I can't do it. I struggle if I want to even put them in my play-in hunt. I think I will out of respect for Giannis, but like I don't feel great about it.
Yeah. I mean, I tend to agree with you. I'm just saying there's a possibility he could keep it propped up, but I think odds are there's so many different things that could happen.
Right.
That one of those things is probably going to happen, and it all leads to Giannis out the door. So
yeah, I think I had them at my 10 seed. That's what I'm going to put them at.
It's fair. So that's our top 8, I believe. So we've got 7 more left. We'll fire through real quick. So unfortunately, it sucks that they're getting lumped into this, but the Indiana Pacers went to the NBA Finals last year, but without Tyrese, they are plus 2,400 with an over-under of let me find it. Oh, I keep looking at P for Pacers. It's I for Indiana. There we go. 38.5 wins. Yeah, I mean they did make some moves, but I think that the obvious thing is that they just do not have the roster that they want, because the guy who it is all revolved around is going to be out the entire season. But they did, lose Miles Turner as well. Did re-sign Isaiah Jackson and James Wiseman as their front court now, basically, and also got Jay Huff.
Huff, man.
Trade with the Grizzlies. So a couple of things. But yeah, I think it makes sense why they put them so low, because yes, they still have pretty decent players on this team. They still have Andrew Nembhard. They still have Obi Toppin, Aaron Nesmith, TJ McConnell, Pascal Siakam. But besides Pascal Siakam, most of those guys that I listed benefit. Their game is so much better with Tyrese in the like offensive scheme. And I think as soon as you take that centerpiece out, it's like taking out the centerpiece of a whatever the centerpiece of an arch that holds it all together. So I think it just drastically reduces their potential. And I still think they have very talented players on this team. And like you said earlier, Jarris Walker is there. He could maybe develop a little bit, but I think collectively it makes sense that they're under 40 wins, 38.5. I'd probably put them a little bit over, to be honest. Not too much though. And I do think I have them in we'll make the play-in tier. Yeah, makes the play-in. So, but yeah, I think sort of like with the Celtics too, I think it's partly that you've lost your main piece, but it's also a mentality thing where it's like we were one game away from winning the NBA Finals, and now we have to wait until 2026 to, even have a shot at it anymore. I think that can be hard to do as a roster from day one of 82 games in a season. So it weighs on you a lot. So I'll say over, but I could also see this team very easily, like Alex was saying, they could easily dip into the just play your young guys and have them develop, and we'll just wait for next year and win like 25 to 30 games. Could go either way.
Right. Yeah. I'm also going over with you. And I actually have them at my 7th seed. I alluded to this in a tweet. I don't remember when it was. It was like a couple weeks after the finals when they were talking about the lineup that they could put out there without Tyrese Haliburton. And, obviously you have a lot of the guys that was in that finals run, TJ McCollum, Andrew Nembhard, Aaron Nesmith, Bennett Mathurin, Obi Toppin, Pascal Siakam. And then you got guys that didn't get as much shine in that finals run, whether it's injury, whether it's opportunity, like, we mentioned Jarris Walker, but also Isaiah Jackson, who is an impact defender. Like I shudder at the thought of what they're going to be able to put out there in terms of like their defense. I think that they were one of the best defenses in the playoffs, and I love Hallie. He was not the reason that they were one of the best defenses in the playoffs. So I think that honestly being able to plug in a better defender as that fifth starter makes them even more dangerous defensively. And offensively, like, again, I love Hallie. Like, he's an all-star, and like I think that, he raises their ceiling for what their offense could be. But in terms of their floor, like, Rick Carlisle is a mastermind head coach. They've got capable ball handlers in Andrew Nembhard, TJ McConnell, even Pascal Siakam has experience, kind of being that guy from his Toronto days as well. So I think, and then Bennett Mathurin, like, this could be a huge opportunity for Bennett Mathurin to step up in terms of not just his scoring in terms of volume, but more of like his efficiency. So yeah, I think that, they're still in the play-in, but I think that people are, I think they're sleeping a little bit on the Pacers post Haliburton, just because we saw even in Game 7 finals, Hallie went down. Like, it would have been so easy. It would have been so easy for that team to just fold, like, just to give in. Like, we have every excuse baked in that we want to. It just wasn't our year. Like, our leader's gone. And they did not fold. Like, as much as we tried to, like, deliver the kill shot until the end, like, they would not go away. And I just think that, this is a team that cares. This is a team that's going to try. This is a team that's going to fight. So I will pick the over. And, again, I have them as the 7th seed in my play-in.
Fair enough. I didn't want to fire through them too quickly. So because they didn't make the finals last year. Put some respect on that. But we'll fire through these last 6 real quick.
Yeah.
Miami Heat over under is set at 38.5. I'm probably going to go under. I don't really see where the Miami Heat are going trajectory wise. They do have, that's not to say that Bam and Tyler Hero and Andrew Wiggins aren't.
Put some respect on my Wildcats, man.
And I know they're your guys, but hey, I don't know. There's not like a Haliburton to this team. There's not like a core guy that you can kind of go around.
Your boy Fontecchio's there.
Fontecchio and Norman Powell are now there, and they have much better shooting. So there's that. But it's like the Bulls and the Bulls and the Heat. They're just always like in the play-in area. So I think to me, they're a tier below where I had the Celtics and the Pacers and the Oh no, they're in the same tier as the Celtics and the Pacers.
Yeah.
They can make the play in.
I'd
So
agree with that. I have them in playing. I have them as my 9 seed. I think they hit their over. You know, we talk about them, we talk about Hero, but I mean, looking at the playoffs last year, guys like freaking Davion Mitchell, Nikola Jovic, like they really stepped up. Pell Larson also really stepped up in the playoffs. They still have Jaime Jaquez Jr.
and Clower.
You know, and Clell Ware, obviously he's coming into his second year. He's got some big expectations. Again, adding Norm Powell. Andrew Wiggins is there for like a whole year, like an off season for like Spo to kind of like work out what he wants to do with Andrew Wiggins, because I do think Wiggins is a useful player. And also they drafted one of my favorite players in the draft, Casper Jackassionis. I think that, you know, in terms of his shooting, his shot creation, and his playmaking, I think that he could be really dangerous off the bench. And of course, you know, they got the GOAT, Simone Fontecchio. So I mean, and in terms of coaching, like, Spo's one of the best in the league. Like, he's going to be able to put it together with this roster. So yeah, I'm going over, taking it with the 9 seed. And that concludes my playoff play-in standings there.
I think that is mine too. Yeah, because the Bucks I had in like a limbo, so they might or might not. So yeah, my playoff play-in is Cavs, Knicks, Hawks, Pistons, Sixers, Magic, and then I guess I put them Celtics, Pacers, and Heat as the last 2. So I guess you have to. I don't know who you take out of that. I guess I'd probably take out the Heat. So Celtics, Pacers is my last 2.
Yeah, if I'm
playoffs.
tiering my top 10, so I've got Sixers, Cavs, Magic as my top one. My next tier, I have Knicks, Hawks, Pistons. And then my play-in tier, I have, oh God, who did I have for? Oh, I have Pacers, Celtics, Heat, Bucks.
Yeah, I gave my top 8. So yeah, 9 and 10 would be Heat and Bucks for me. So
yeah.
Last 5. So we can still do over-unders on this real quick. But this is introducing the tier for me. That's the second to last tier, which is we'll try to make the play-in and miss. We'll start with the Bulls. The Bulls are set at over-under 30.5, which actually is lower than I thought it'd be. This is the first time I'm looking at these. So I'll probably go over because, like I said, they'll try to make the play-in. The Bulls always try to make the play-in to just be like the team that makes the play-in. But yeah, I don't. You know, they're trying to ship Vucevic out the door. It feels like still like not really sure what you do with Josh Giddey. He's still not signed. He's a restricted free agent, but you kind of have to at this point. I just don't know what like their future direction is. I think Bulls fans just feel like they're just hoping Buzelis is going to be the one. But other than that, there's not much there. So I'll go over, but not. I'll say like 32 wins, and they'll be like maybe the 10 seed if things break their way.
Right. Yeah, I could see over. I really wanted to put the Hornets at the 11 seed just right outside of the play-in because I predicted them in the play-in last year, and it might have happened, but, you know, you talk about a team with injuries. They went through some injuries.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think I had the Bucks over. I think I had them at the 11 seed, and, you know, just kind of bleeding into it, I have the Hornets as my 12 seed. I'd love to hear what their over-under is because I think they have a lot of talent.
I agree. I don't even know what it is, but I'm going to pick the over no matter what. So
the blind over.
I'm taking the blind over at 27.5, and I love that.
Hammer.
I love that. Yeah. I don't know, like collectively, if this is a core that makes sense for the future, but they're not really playing for playoffs right now. They're just seeing what sticks to the wall. So I mean, you bring in Con Knipple this year with your draft pick. You still have
Ryan Kalkbrenner.
Ryan Kalkbrenner, I really like from
and Liam McNeely. Like they got the white guys from the draft.
They re-signed our boy Trey Mann.
Yep.
They've got Brandon Miller still there.
Yep.
Brought in Colin Sexton. Like some pieces, you know, there's some guys here that you can throw out the wall and see what sticks. There's a lot of offensive talent here for sure. So, you know, heck, let's see what happens. I think they can win 30 games. I'll say it.
ESPN doesn't even have Colin Sexton on their amateurs. Yeah.
Tracks the GOAT.
No, I agree. I think that they've got a fun roster. Of course, they've still got veteran players and guys that have been there for a while, like Miles Bridges, Musa Diabate, Josh Green is there, Taj Gibson, Seth Curry. They brought in Pat Connaughton, the aforementioned Pat Connaughton, championship.
Dinwiddie's there.
Yeah, championship pedigree. And then Antonio Reeves, which I think is a sneaky pickup for them. He was great for the Pelicans whenever the Pelicans went through all their injuries last year. I think I read that he shot – actually, I'll just look up what he shot because he had a really good season with the Pelicans whenever he got to play. Let's see here. God dang, that's crap out of me. It just played an ad when I clicked on this ESPN thing and it sounded like a gunshot. I was like, oh my God. Yeah, no, he shot 39.5% from the 3-point line last year. I'm trying to see on how many attempts.
Not too bad.
Yeah, of course they don't have. Oh, they had the total attempts. But it's on about 3 attempts a game. So yeah, I'd love to see what that looks like with a legitimate creator and like LaMelo Ball and, of course, Trey Mann. But we talked way too long on the Hornets. I apologize. Continue.
Okay. The last team on my will try to make the plan and we'll miss the Raptors. And the Raptors are currently at plus or minus 37.5 wins. Very high for my taste. I think I'm a little bit on the outskirts with this, though. I think if you just look at their roster, they have like pretty decent amount of talent. Like at the top, like their top 3 or 4 is among the best that you'll have in the Eastern Conference. But to me, it's not so much about like the talent, but how they're gonna fit together. I don't really. To me, Scotty Barnes, Brandon Ingram, and RJ Barrett are just like very redundant players. They're all just kind of like wings that are pretty athletic, pretty long, and can kind of shoot. And it's just like there's no, if that's like 3 out of your best 4 guys, I don't really know how much you can do with that offensively. I think Immanuel Quickley does provide a little bit of difference there because he is much more like athletic and can move a little bit quicker with it on the ball. And I think Jakob Poeltl is still a very good player for them. Jakob. But I think those top 3 guys, I'm just like, I don't know what you do with that. And I don't know if I can make an argument for 37.5 wins. I'm going to say under. I'm going to say probably like closer to where the Bulls are, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I think that I could even put them at the 13, maybe even 14 seed. I might even just put them at 14 seed for fun because I don't think this roster makes a lot of sense. It feels like they're just kind of treading water. It will be interesting to see how they look on the floor because when they acquired Brandon Ingram, he was injured. So we haven't seen what Ingram looks like on this team. They have some interesting pieces, but again, not a lot of them fit very well. Quickly, I know was injured a lot last season, as well as RJ Barrett and Scotty Barnes. So see what these players can look like whenever everybody's healthy. But yeah, I do agree. It feels like 37 is quite a stretch. They won 30 last year, so
I think that's just like, I think they're just assuming they'll be healthy, which might be fair, but
it's what we're supposed to do in this exercise, Tierney. Come on now, get with the program.
I'm gonna go away from that and say under. They're gonna get hurt again, or they're just not gonna work very well. But anyway, last 2 Wizards
over.
Won't even be
blind
close.
Over.
Whoa, over blind over. Is this a blind over?
Blind over.
It's 20.5. So
20.5.
20.5.
Blind over.
Up from 18 last season.
That's easy.
What's your quick pitch on why it's over? I have not really looked at the Wizards too much.
Oh, I love their young talent. I think it was Will Dawkins that came over from OKC to their front office, and I love every move that they have made. He's just bringing in guys, that have young talent, and he also has a nice little blend of veterans as well. But in terms of the players that are probably going to be starting, I mean, obviously you got my boy Bilal Coulibaly. They just traded for Cam Whitmore. I think he's going to be out there. They just drafted Trey Johnson very high in the draft. I think he's going to be out there as well.
I do like Trey Johnson.
you got guys like Malachi Branham. Keyshawn George, of course, was a draft pick last year. I think he's really good. AJ Johnson was tearing up the summer league. Alex Sarr, going into his second year, they picked up Blake Wesley off of the waiver wire. They've got some fun pieces, and I think that they have an identity, and like offensively specifically, and I think that they'll be a really fun team. And when you're talking about like the bottom of the East, I do think that the Eastern Conference as a whole will be like more evenly spread out. With the Giants, if you will, kind of knocked out of the contention. But I think the bottom will still be very bottomy, and I think the Wizards, they won't be a great team by any stretch of the matter. But I mean, we're talking 20 wins. We're talking about beating out the Nets and the Raptors. Like I think that they could do that.
You know what? I'll agree. I'll say over as well. You've convinced me. One other thing, just real quick about their future, because I was looking at Spotrac.
Mhm.
Not this season, but next season. The combination of Alex Sarr, Trey Johnson, Bilal, Bob Carrington, and Cam
Bob Carrington,
Whitmore.
bro, I forgot about him.
Mhm.
Really
Those five make up, let me do some math here, like less than 20% of your cap from those five.
And honestly, that might be your starting lineup.
Yeah, like that's pretty crazy. That's just like their future is honestly very, very good.
That is probably their starting lineup. If I were to bet today, I would say that is probably their starting lineup.
Yeah, that's crazy that they have that just ready to go, because their top two guys on the cap right now are Chris Middleton and CJ. They're off the books next year, so
Yep.
They are set up very, very well. Okay, last team. You want to do blind under on this? For
Yes.
the Brooklyn Nets. All right, Brooklyn Nets blind under.
And their
is-
25,000 point guards that they
Yep.
drafted.
They have the same over under as the Wizards. Wow, 20.5.
Well, I feel okay going under on that.
So heavy over on the Wizards, heavy under on the Nets. All the guards in the world. And Cam Thomas is gonna, and Michael Porter Jr., I guess, will do some stuff over there.
Cam Thomas is still in a contract dispute, man.
Yeah, I feel
look-
bad for restricted free agents. They do not have a good time right now.
Yeah, we don't know what Cam Thomas is going to do. I mean, they won 26 games last year, but I know specifically early in the year, your boy Cam Johnson was carrying like a lot of those wins.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't know, man. I look at this roster and it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I think Michael Porter Jr. is going to hate his time at the Brooklyn Nets.
Going from the Nets or the Nuggets to the Nets feels like a very not fun time.
Yeah, so
Jokic to whatever they have.
yeah. Oh, they have Killian Hayes on the roster too. So that's
They have Drake. Don't forget about Drake Powell, who they just signed, UNC legend.
yeah. Yep. They've
And Drew Timmy is there as well.
that is somebody that is on the roster.
That is
So
a person there.
yeah,
What a team.
There's room for somebody to step up if somebody is going to step up.
And Igor,
Yegor, come on now.
Nolan
Traore.
Those are players.
Maybe it's
on the
Traore.
Nets.
I don't know. He's French.
We don't really need to know right now. That's all the teams.
That is the East. We did it.
We did it. What a run.
Woo.
The West is coming up.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, I wanted to ask you and also all of our listeners, obviously it's the off season. So not everybody's just like all basketball all the time. I'm actually taking not like a hiatus from Twitter, but I haven't been tweeting like near as much or anything like that. But I've been watching a lot of TV shows, not even just recently, just in general. And I started The Rehearsal on HBO.
I think we talked about this. Yeah, it's so good.
See, dude, it took me out of it at the end of the first season. I don't.
Oh, the end is sad. I get it, but season 2 does not go that same direction.
Okay, thank God. I
Season 2
hated that.
is way better.
I would have liked The Rehearsal if he just did what he was supposed to do and just had like all these different scenarios and like it's like an episode week thing. Like whenever he tried to insert himself into the other one, it's like
I liked the through line though of the family. I thought it was until the very, very last episode where it was like no spoilers, but the last episode was very sad. But the season 2 is not sad, and it's never even that type of
Okay.
feeling ever again. It's ridiculous.
I'll give it another chance then.
You got to get, I think it's the episode 3 in season 2 that's the most ridiculous. You got to make it at least to there, and then tell me when you do, because it's one of my favorite episodes of television in the 2020s. It's so ridiculous and so funny to me.
All right. I mean, hey, I really enjoyed the pilot of the first season. So
recreates the bar.
Yeah, the bar was a little bit too high at that point. But yeah, I will finish that. But I want some TV show suggestions. You'll probably suggest something that I have seen, definitely. But hey, I'm open to pretty much every genre. I like to laugh. I like action shows. I like heist shows, I guess, if you will, crime drama, stuff like that. So I mean, hey, hit me up with stuff, man. I'm looking for new TV shows to watch. I will say, I probably need to revisit Mad Men. I abandoned ship like 3 episodes in. I just was not enjoying it that much. So
I didn't either. I wasn't a fan.
Yeah, so maybe I'll jump back into that. But yeah, I'm taking suggestions. Hit me up in the comments down below. Drop a TV show suggestion for Mr. Thunder Chats here. Winner of the Stephen Dolan trivia game. But yeah, Tierney, if you don't got anything else, brother, let's go ahead and end this. I'm gonna go to bed.
Right there with you.
Everybody, thank you all for tuning in. If you're in the chat, go ahead, like I said, leave a TV show, like the video, subscribe so you don't miss out when we go live, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out when we go live. Hope everybody has a great night. God bless. Hope when you can. We'll be back on Thursday.